Hello and welcome back to the Mafia Scum Modern Super League. We have one more match for you tonight, and our commentators for that match are going to be Sensfan and Yaw, so I'm going to throw it over to them.
All right. Hello, Yaw. Back for some more commentary. How are you doing now after the little break?
Doing all right.
Yeah. All right. So, for this match, it'll be a Trimester 1 match between Khelvaster and Panzer, the last Trimester 1 match. Let's take a look at what Khelvaster is playing with his Eldrazi Tron deck. What jumps out to you with this deck, Yaw?
So it's basically a ramp deck. All those sort of cheap Eldrazi's are colorless and well with Urza's lands, so that's basically what it's trying to do. Fit them together with Expedition Map and drop some fast reality smashers. I'm not sure it's the best Eldrazi build, but on the whole, it's been doing fairly well.
Yeah. So, yeah, basically, like you said, pretty straightforward ramp, that sort of thing. Anything in particular that jumps out about this one in terms of tech choices that make it distinct from normal?
Not really. The Hangerback Walker is a little bit old. Nowadays, they've moved to Walking Ballistas, but that's not going to matter too much in this match.
All right, and then let's hop over to the certainly more interesting deck. Panzer is running Ad Nauseum. So why don't you explain the gist of this deck for anyone who's not super familiar with it?
So basically, Ad Nauseum is a really powerful card that when you cast it, it basically does the Dark Confidant thing as many times as you want. You flip the card over from the top of your deck, you look at its casting cost, that much you lose life, equal to that much, and then you can put that in your hand, and then you can repeat. So in more powerful formats than Modern, like Legacy, this is just a crazy combo card. They use Dark Rituals to get into it. It just means draw 15 cards, and then you win. In Modern, you can't do that, because the stuff that's available costs more. So you just kill yourself if you were to do that. So instead, in order to use Ad Nauseum, what they do is they combine it with cards. So you either need to have an Angel's Grace, which says you can't lose the game that turn, or a Phyrexian Unlife in play, which works a little bit funny, but basically it will keep you alive at any life total. And since Ad Nauseum makes you lose life, it'll just keep you alive. It's never doing damage. So as long as you combine one of those two cards with the Ad Nauseum, it lets you draw your deck. Excuse me. Once you've drawn your deck, you use some of the Simian Spirit Guides, and if you have it, which it doesn't look like this list does, Desperate Ritual or Pyretic Ritual in order to ramp. And then you use that to cast a Lightning Storm, drop all the lands that you've drawn into your hand, and throw them at your opponent. The alternate win, just in case you can't do that, like if they have something like a Leyline of Sanctity in play, so you can't target them, there's also a single Laboratory Maniac. So what you can do is you can use Pentad Prisms to filter some mana so that you drop a Laboratory Maniac after you've drawn your entire deck, and then you cast a Serum Visions, which makes you draw a card, and then Laboratory Visions you gain.
So the deck very much is just trying to assemble the combo mana plus not dying plus Ad Nauseum.
Yeah, everything else is either fast mana or ways to find the pieces of the combo that you need.
Okay, so let's just quickly go over how you expect this matchup to play out before we hop down onto the table.
Well, the thing that's going to be interesting is how fast is Panzer going to be at assembling this combo. Because what Khelvaster has is a bit of a slower deck here. The Eldrazi can kill fast, but they take a little bit of time to get onto the table. And the only card main deck that actually interacts at all with this combo is Thought-Knot Seer. So if there's no Thought-Knot Seers, then Panzer's just goldfishing.
And usually this is what, a turn 5-6 win is the goal?
You can get turn 4 if you've got Lotus Bloom, Pentad Prism, you can
Okay.
get the amount of mana together surprisingly quick.
All right. Well, let's hop down onto the board and take a look at the starting hands. So Panzer is on the play. Looks like his hand has 2 gemstone mines, 2 additional lands, a Phyrexian Unlife, an Angel's Grace, and a Pentad Prism.
It's fine.
Yep.
I don't think you mull it. Like, you have pieces.
Right.
The thing is that you need to find your Ad Nauseum, and nothing here quite helps. You'd really prefer one of these to be a scrying land. But I don't think you mulligan this. And the nice thing is, there's no way to get rid of an enchantment in Khelvaster's deck. So this buys him quite a bit of time. So you can drop the Phyrexian Unlife, that's 10 extra life to work with. You can use the Angel's Grace as a fog. This is okay. I think he keeps.
And so if we hop over to Khelvaster's hand, Ghost Quarter, Eldrazi Temple, Hangback Walker, Relic of Progenitus, 2 Urza's Towers, and a Dismember.
There's a Ghost Quarter and a pile of nothing.
Yeah,
Relic of Progenitus is notorious in that a lot of people think, oh, this is going to be a combo. Ad Nauseum is the one combo deck that does nothing to it. Does nothing here, except draw a card.
Right, so I would assume he's going to ship this hand.
Yeah, I think you want more interaction. There's just too much dead here.
Send it down to the players and let them know. Yeah, there you go. If we look at Panzer, I assume he's keeping, as you said. Because really, all he needs is an Ad Nauseum.
Yeah, he's keeping.
Yeah. Especially, like you said, he can pre-play the Phyrexian Unlife.
Yeah, and he's going, like he should. He should just play it on turn.
Khelvaster's in the tank.
I don't think you can keep this.
Because the Ghost Quarter doesn't even really do anything, because there's no super special non-basics.
Yeah, and there is a single island in the deck that can be fetched.
Right.
So cutting off colors, especially since there's a Pentad Prism out there, is not...
Right. One island is a little greedy if multiple Ghost Quarters appear, is the problem.
Right.
Is it turns every other Ghost Quarter into a wasteland.
Right. The thinking is that you're hoping to win before that matters.
He's keeping.
Okay. That is risky.
Yeah, because he needs to be the aggro deck here. Like, he needs to just race, and I don't know if he can do that with this hand. With just a Hangback Walker.
He might be thinking this deck is slower. So we've got a Dark Six Crows and a pass. That's expected.
See what Khelvaster draws here. I don't know if he realizes that, like, turn 5, turn 6, he's dead.
He needs to draw first.
Yeah. Is he just Ghost Quarter? Oh, no. What?
That does not work that way.
Yeah. That's not an Eldrazi.
Oh.
I assume we're okay not forcing him to...
Okay, so he's drawing for turn.
For 0?
Yeah, that's got to go back in his hand. He's drawing for turn. He's drawing an Endbringer.
Which is super slow.
Yeah, that's not coming up for a while. Land for turn is a temple, but it can't do anything, so it's going to pass. Okay. Now we're back on track.
Now we're going to pass to Panzer, see what he draws. Not ideal, but fine.
It's okay. He's got a Pentad Prism this turn.
Yeah. And yeah, like, as soon as he finds Ad Nauseum, he wins the game, basically. So...
Yeah, next turn he's got an Unlife. This is fine.
No, yeah, it's fine. Just, I don't know if he needs more lands at this point, but...
Well, he needs to get up to 6, so... he's got that. That's
true.
This is okay. This is like turn 4, he's got the net.
Does he need to get up to 6 if he can pre-play the Unlife?
Oh, yeah, that's true. No, he doesn't. He only needs to get to 5 then. But he needs to find the Ad Nauseum.
Yeah, at this point, just really... Khelvaster
Here's a
draws a
reality.
reality smasher.
This is the saddest of reality smashing.
Yeah. That's really... Yeah. Gonna play Urza's Tower. And
might as well get the hanger back out.
Yeah, get a 1/1 out there to really get him. Also, probably should have played Relic last turn.
Yeah, I think you want to cycle the relic.
I mean, you may as
pretty
well.
early for a card. Yeah, it's free to do that. Yeah,
it's free. He didn't use it last turn. He didn't use his mana, but yeah. Hanger back on 1. Probably not going to present enough of a clock, is my guess.
Yeah, this is not a thing that's going to matter.
And he's still 2 turns away from a reality smasher.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about this one.
Oh, here it comes.
Yeah, this is shockingly close to lethal.
This is just it. This turn, he gets to drop land, unlife. You have... Well, the only thing is if Khelvaster draws exactly Thought-Knots.
Okay. Yeah.
And takes the Ad Nauseum. That is it.
Yeah, because especially by next turn, he also has mana to pay for the Angel's Grace if needed. So even if there was a way to remove the unlife, it doesn't matter. Looks like there's some confusion.
Yeah, the fast lands are worded a little bit funny.
Yeah,
so they say that
other lands.
They enter the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or fewer other lands. So so it can be the 3rd one and come in on top, but it can't be the 4th.
Yeah, it looks like Khelvaster's just misread. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's easy to flip past that because line wraps.
Well, and because normally I would feel it should just say control 3 or fewer lands, but I guess other lands makes it more clear that we're talking about other. But anyway, both players still at 20, and like you said, Panzer has a win in his hand unless Khelvaster can find specifically Thought-Knot Seer. He does not.
That's not it.
Now the question is, we've seen before this. Okay, so for the viewers, this is not the deck Panzer submitted. He was not in this tournament originally. He is replacing another player, and we've seen that he's not incredibly familiar with the deck. Is it possible he does not realize that he has?
I think he was familiar with the what is supposed to happen part of it, and not as much with the how do I get there.
Okay. And is there anything in Khelvaster's deck that it's worth bluffing to leave up? No, right? There's nothing, I don't think.
There's nothing. It's open deck list. What are you going to do? Spatial contortion?
Panzer should know, therefore, that he's totally free to just run out the Ad Nauseum.
Yeah, and even dropping a Ghost Quarter at any point in this would not have disrupted this combo at all. Right.
And frankly, even if he had drawn the island, he's going to have 1 extra mana next turn. Because he's going to have 6 with the Pentad Prism.
Yeah, and he has... The problem is he has so little mana, and he already dropped a land, that even cycling the Relic, even if he draws a Thought-Knot Seer off of it, it's too late. He can't cast it.
Correct.
Which means if he had actually, going back in time, if he had dropped the Relic on turn 1, everything was the same,
card deeper.
Then...
No, he wouldn't, actually.
Yes, because instead of playing the Cavern of... Oh, yeah, it wouldn't work anyway.
No, he never had
would have needed
it.
Yeah, he would have needed an Eldrazi Temple and so it doesn't matter.
And now hopefully we see Panzer just go for it.
Yeah, he drew a Temple of Deceit. That's not going to matter here. Here we go. So one charge counter left on the Penta Prism. Here comes the Ad
I
Nauseam.
assume we'll just see Khelvaster scoop, given the deck lists are open.
Maybe he wants to ensure that Panzer knows what he's doing here. So this should be shortcutted.
Yep.
Yeah. So shortcut, we go to a very, very negative life. We're not going to figure out how negative exactly, but rest assured it is very negative. Everything comes up in hand. He's going to -20 just to show us. It doesn't matter. So now he just needs to find the 3 Simian Spirit Guides that are in there and the Lightning.
Yep, there's one.
So
There's
here's one.
two. There's 3.
There's 3. Lightning Storm, and he just has to do it for just enough. So you do not pitch all the lands because Lightning Storm lets your opponent redirect things. There are ways to mess this up.
Right. I mean, as long as
the more experienced players.
Yeah, you could pitch 15 and be fine, probably, as long as you have 2 or 3 left.
Yeah, so it's at 2
least
times.
7. Or is it 2 or 3? Okay, he's scooping.
Yeah. So it's 2 times the number of lands you discard plus 3.
Oh,
plus 3.
Okay, yeah.
It's a weird card. It's a really weird card.
All right, so looking at sideboarding, if we look at Panzer's sideboard, I assume he brings in probably the Recall and Slaughter Pact, maybe?
Well, this isn't really the place to start, because what he has to board against is what he thinks is going on the other side of the board.
Yeah, so let's look at the other side of the board. That's right.
Khelvaster has to board to stop this. So what's out there that actually matters? So we have 4 Chalice of the Void. Those are great. We have a Pithing Needle, which is surprisingly good in that you can name Lightning Storm because the actual discard of lands is an activated ability. And yes, that is just ridiculously weird. Surgical Extraction can sometimes be a thing against combo, but this Ad Nauseum deck is not putting a lot of stuff in its graveyard, so it seems a little bit sketchy to go after that. Sometimes you might be able to get to a high enough life total that they can't kill you, so something like a Basilisk Color might be considered, but I think that's also kind of sketchy. Mostly, we're just going to... We should be seeing 4 Chalice of the Void, 1 Pivot.
Right.
Spellskite, maybe, in that you can try to keep redirecting a Lightning Storm, but that's also kind of weird to try, not exactly reliable.
And you have to take
a Laboratory Maniac.
Yeah. Yeah, the Lab Maniac is what gives you the inevitability in case anything goes wrong with the combo.
Yeah. 6 cards that are definitely coming out are the Dismembered Spatial Contortion.
Those are literally
do absolutely nothing. So those have to come out.
Because one thing to keep in mind is that even though Lab Maniac is that secondary win condition, Panzer does have access to 3 Pact of Negations once he draws his deck. Possibly 4,
and there's actually... It's interesting in that there's more that Khelvaster wants to take out than that he wants to put in. So maybe put in one of the Spellskites as an extra thing. Maybe put in a second Spellskite instead of one of the All Is Dusts or something. Like, he's going to have to mess around a little bit with numbers because he has a lot of it.
Right.
But that means that over on the other side, what we're looking at in terms of the hate that Panzer can expect to see, it's mostly artifact based. So it's going to be, as you mentioned, the Hercules recalls. Those are the sorts of things that we want.
Wear and tear, probably.
Yeah, the wear tear and the Hercules recalls are the sort of cards that he wants. There's no real threat of counter magic, so the Seiju is not relevant. Pact of Negation can probably come out because there's not a lot of reason to be countering spells.
If he
Leyline of Sanctity,
his Lab Maniac, he might keep at least 1 or 2 pacts in if he wants to stop Dismember from just ruining his day.
But Dismember should not even be deck post-board. There's no reason for it to be in there.
You're right, yeah.
It's possible to consider the Leyline of Sanctity just as a way to stop Thought-Knot Seer from getting at your hand. I think that's getting a little bit too far. I think, for the most part, it's just going to be the Hercules Recalls and the Wear Chair, or the Wear Chair, which is about 4 cards, and he's going to be finding spots from his deck for that. Probably the Pact of Negations are the things to go. Spoils of the Vault is the sketchiest of the find cards. So that one I could see trimming as well.
So, as you know, he did not sideboard. Panzer brought
that
nothing
can happen.
In. Brought nothing
That
in.
can happen if he thinks that the original configuration.
He's playing a combo deck. He thinks that he wants to keep it as compact as possible.
On the other side, we have seen. This is weird. Okay. 2 Dismembers have come out for. Wow, this is just weird. 2 Dismembers and an Endbringer have come out for 3 surgical extractions. And that appears to be it.
Does he
that
not?
Appears to be it. That is just
I think maybe
asking for trouble.
Said he is on that focus of combo equals surgical extraction graveyard hate.
But if you paid attention to game 1, nothing hit the graveyard that was even remotely relevant.
All his dust came out, it looks like.
No, there was one in the board.
Oh, is there one? Oh, there was. Okay, there you go. So let's look at the hands. If we look at Khelvaster's hand, 2 Eldrazi Temples, 2 surgical extractions, a power plant, a map, and an Endbringer.
Endbringer is going to be too late to matter. This is
the problem with that sideboard.
He might keep it if he thinks the surgical is good. I could see him keep it, but I think it's a mistake to keep this. It's not a hand that does anything.
And if we go over to Panzer, there's no.
Oh, this is hilarious! No, he keeps this. This is ridiculous. You know what he has? Turn 1 land. Yeah,
Angel's
hold
Grace.
on. Here's what he does.
Yeah.
So he's keeping this. You play land, bloom, and you can play the sleight of hand. But once the bloom comes off suspend, and you kind of get your mana set up, what you do is you hard cast the Lab Maniac. There should not be anything on the other side of the board to kill it. So you just pass. Wait, comes back to your turn, cast Angel's Grace, cast Spoils of the Vault, and you name a card that's not even in your deck.
Correct.
And it's just going to get rid of your deck. So when you draw for the turn, you just win.
Okay. Well, let's let the players know. Looks like Khelvaster's keeping. And
this is the weird side kill that you have, but I think you keep it.
I wonder if this might be something that someone who's not familiar with the deck doesn't see.
He's keeping as well.
Okay.
I mean, even if you don't see that, you have mana, you have an Angel's Grace, and you have ways to find your Nauseum, so you keep. Even if you don't have the cute kill, you definitely keep that.
So, Khelvaster's turn. Yeah, let him know to go ahead. This just seems super slow.
Oh, there's an expedition map.
This hand does nothing.
He's going to be somewhat on the way to Tron.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter much. Yeah, they're just dealing with the turn marker.
Yep.
And he just drew an ad nauseum, because why not?
Because, in case he didn't see the alternate win con, may as well give him another way to win the game.
One.
Yeah.
May as well have the main one. Yeah. So here's a sleight of hand.
I mean, yeah, as soon as Lotus Bloom resolves, he wins the game.
Yeah. And he's going to look at... There's a Simian Spirit Guide, and there's a Serum Visions.
Mm-hmm.
The Spirit Guide's actually fine here, because what he can do is next turn, he can play the Simian Spirit Guide and tap the Pentad Prism into play, and then he'll have the black and the white for the Angel of Grace and Sports.
Yep. Yeah, he doesn't need to hit a second land drop as long as he can land his Pentad Prism.
Yeah, and the Lotus Bloom has to go on suspend
Correct.
as well. But he should have plenty of time for this, and again,
absolutely.
it's the only thing that matters is if Khelvaster somehow manages to find a Thought-Knot Seer in time.
Right. But at this point, he has both win cons available, so even if Thought-Knot Seer hits the Angel's Grace, there are 7 combo pieces, I believe, that can win him the game.
Yeah. I don't like this as much. He picked the Serum Visions. But here's the Lotus Bloom. It probably won't matter. Because Serum Visions is actually really good at finding land. So.
Right. He just needs to not miss, 3 land drops. Which,
yeah.
Seems fine. Khelvaster, for the turn, is going to draw something. Wastes.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly, right?
That'll do something.
I mean, all he can do is pop his map this turn.
Yep. And go look for, I guess, Ghost Quarter?
He's extracting...
The Serum Visions.
The sleight of hand.
The sleight of hand. I guess you can do that. I mean, why not? He's going to get some bad news.
I mean, I guess this is how you play Gitaxian Probe in Modern now.
No, you still don't do it this way. This is... Yeah. So this is going to take a little bit of time, just because the way things work, I don't believe your opponent can have access to your deck to pull cards out. So you're going to have to, yeah, exactly. You exile this stuff, and then you show them that it's gone. Is basically what you have to do.
Correct.
And show your hand that it's also gone. I'm not sure if this is going to change the way that Panzer plays, in that now he knows that Kelv knows what's in his hand, but I don't think you can pass up what's going on here.
Well, Kelv has very little, for what little disruption he has for the Ad Nauseum, he has almost no disruption for the Lab Maniac kill.
And, well, he still has it in play, but he shouldn't. So you assume that he shouldn't.
Which would be really funny if he were to lose the game to a Dismember that stays in the deck.
Yeah, that shouldn't happen.
All right, well, that is a thing that happened.
I think you need to show the entire library.
He did. We showed the library first, which I assume is fine.
No. I think he looked at his own library.
No, Khelvaster looked at Panzer's library.
Okay, maybe.
I
didn't see it go by.
Panzer draws a spirit guide.
Why not? So now it works as normal. I mean, he can if he wants to.
Spirit guide the prison.
Well, he can if he wants to cast a Serum Vision.
I feel like, even though it's unlikely, that there's more ways that goes wrong than getting your Pentat Prism in play now.
Probably.
Just because in sort of looking at it as like, how do you lose this game? You lose this game if you like quadruple whiff on lands.
Right. Well, this does help find lands. And
it does.
There's 2 turns before the bloom comes off the spell. Well, that's nice. An extra ad nauseum.
It is an extra ad nauseum. Not as good as it would have been last game because the Angel's Grace is what can be targeted by.
And the 2 cards left on top are a gemstone. So
yep.
Everything just coming up, Panzer.
Everything coming up. 10-minute match. Khelvaster's in a real tough spot.
Passes the turn, he's probably going to crack them because you might as well crack them up.
But this turn, presumably, he's going to want to play the Temple. I guess it depends what he draws.
Well, the one thing he can do to hope to get him out of this, it shouldn't, but to hope to get him out of this, is you crack the map, you find a Ghost Quarter, and then you Ghost Quarter to the land, which forces a shuffle.
That's fair. Does not.
Instead, he decided to just draw.
Oh, doesn't even crack.
And it's a tower.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
He should have cracked. I mean, the reality is that Ghost Quarter play doesn't save him because there's a Simian Spirit Guide, so everything just works out. But looking at what you see on the table, that would probably be the play, right? You know he kept 2 cards on top.
You know that he's stuck on one land.
Which means he probably kept lands.
Right. Gonna surge. Oh, well, this shuffles anyway.
Okay. Sure.
I gotta feel like if these extractions were more gas, he'd be in a much better position.
Yeah.
Than taking out all copies of 2 cantrips.
I mean, he gets to see the hand, and he gets to see that the bad news is still there.
If even one of those was a Chalice on 0, he'd be so much further ahead.
Yeah.
Or a Chalice.
Oh, Chalice should have come in.
Or a Pithing Needle. If one of those 2 was,
Yeah. Well, a Pithing Needle only hits light. That's not what this game is about. But if it's, if it was Chalice, then he'd have been able to go Chalice on 0, stop the bloom, Chalice on 1, stop the cantrips, and also stop the Angel's Grace.
Yep.
The split second doesn't stop triggers, and he'd be far ahead compared to this. But the big problem here is there's no pressure.
Right, there's nothing. There's no pressure or disruption other than, like I said, taking out 2 play sets of cantrips. I mean...
Right, and what's he even playing to?
He's passing the turn?
An Endbringer? What else can he do? He already played his land for the turn.
No, that's fair, but...
Charge counter comes off.
Well,
draw for the turn is a Gemstone Mine. Because why not?
Because Panzer. things are coming. Like you said, everything's coming up. But a lot of this, Khelvaster are probably very frustrated to see stuff like this. The reality is none of this matters. Oh no! Going back to last turn, he knew the Spirit Guide was in the hand.
Yes.
So he knew Ghost Quarter wouldn't necessarily put him off of Pent-Up Prism. But
true.
Yeah, no, this is...
But what else do you do? Okay, here comes the map crack.
We're again in a position where he needs to draw specifically one card.
Yeah, and here, I think actually you just go for the Ad Nauseum kill because it's faster. Like, you have 7 mana lined up.
But if Khelvaster doesn't draw... Yeah, no, that's it. We're done.
Here's Karn. That doesn't do enough. It'll make Panzer exile a card, but he's got extra stuff. So it doesn't matter. I think you still do it.
Yeah, because if it exiles...
Oh, if it exiles the Prism?
Yeah, that buys him a turn, unless Panzer hits a land. I think.
Yeah?
No, the Lad Maniac...
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. Because you just use the Simian Spirit Guide in order to cast your stuff. So it doesn't matter. There's still 6 mana lined up.
Yeah, there's still 6 mana, you're right. So has access to the white without having to pop the bloom. So he can pop the bloom for black. Has the gemstone mine as well, obviously.
And you just Lightning Storm for the kill.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame because the sideways kill was interesting.
It is very interesting. But he drew into Spirit Guide land Ad Nauseum.
Yeah, that's not what you do here. You just kill fast. Yeah, he's going to exile the Pent-Up Prism.
Yeah, that's fine.
And we make sure it's in the place that it should be.
But now Panzer untaps and wins.
Yeah, and none of this matters.
Knows he can untap and win.
Yeah, you still have to do it. You still have to make him do it. But there's just... This was goldfishing.
Yeah. Let's see what he's going to draw.
Oh, that land, you might as well just keep it.
Might as well keep in your hand, yeah. You don't need to scry.
It's a tap land you don't want. It doesn't matter, technically. You're going to draw your entire deck. You're going to draw your entire deck. It doesn't matter. I'm not even going to look at what he scries because it doesn't matter.
Assuming he goes for it.
Well, you scry. You have to.
No, what scares me the most about playing that land is it makes me think he may not realize he can combo off.
Yeah, because you don't want to give Karn another chance to exile.
Correct.
Because it'll go after the bloom. Okay, here we go.
Okay. Yep.
It's going for black.
Seems like tapping Seachrome Coast is...
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter, just in terms of...
It doesn't matter. And in response, while keeping priority, you cast the Angel's Grace. No, you do not say K. Hold.
He said K.
Uh-oh. That's a priority. Wait, what just happened? Because you have to keep priority.
Hold up. Hold up.
I think they're understanding that it would have...
But I think Panzer just drew his deck and lost, potentially.
He had all the pieces, and he was demonstrating he had all the pieces. That makes sense, but...
Are we hand-waving Do we have a judge here?
You may not have mana for Lightning Storm. There's no chance. There's Forsaken Spirit Gods for a reason. That's and Chuck.
So I guess we are hand waving that then?
He never could have surgical extraction on Spirit Guide. That is not possible.
Yeah, Spirit God gets exiled.
Spirit Guide gets exiled. You do not have it as a.
Okay, well,
yeah,
I guess.
looks like this is going to go for Adno. Basically like goldfishing.
Yeah. So this is what we said. This Tron deck is unfortunately a little bit too slow, has no real way to interact, and gets beat by the combo deck that draws combo.
Yeah. So the nice thing about this is Trimester ends, and nobody goes 0-3.
Correct, yeah. Myself and Panzer were the only ones without wins, and I beat Panzer, he beat Khelvaster. And any final thoughts?
That looks like about it.
All right, we will throw it over to Cow then to wrap up the stream.
All right, that's going to be it for this match, as well as for Trimester 1. Thank you for continuing to watch, and we hope to see you next time.